Finally back home. Holy shit. That was fucking crazy. We roll up to the to Nutrizone in like a freaking just big ass SUV. You guys were wrapped around like buildings upon buildings. It's fucking nuts. No, that was cool. Rented all sorts of lifters and freaks. Signed all sorts of belts and whatnot. That was fucking badass. I couldn't stop fucking smiling when we were driving in. Oh, it's just crazy. Did not expect it to be that nuts for sure. But yeah, holy shit. So keep an eye out on the hostile YouTube channel, because I mean we just did a whole weekend trip over in LA, so we got all sorts of lifts. Some Gold's Gym trips, some Metro Flex. Man, yeah, that's fucking badass. But oh yeah, I swear this will be the last cardio video. I've kind of been just pumping those out. But I got back late last night, so this oh, oh, oh my goodness. So today's Monday. So this cardio video that you're watching now was recorded the day of, but the back day video tomorrow was also recorded today. That'll just be a bit later. But I'm actually gonna throw some abs in. I haven't done abs for like fucking forever. So usually if I'm gonna do actual weight training, like when I do abs, I'm doing pretty heavy like cable crunches. So I wouldn't want to do that fasted. But since I've already eaten a pretty good amount of food today, I don't mind adding a little bit of training in after the cardio. For a while I used to do calves after cardio, but I was kind of in a rush in the morning as of late, so I've kind of been chilling out on those, and then just doing calves after the workout itself. But yeah, 30 minutes on the recumbent bike. You can do whatever you want. I mean, if you're a big treadmill fan, then hop on the treadmill. If you love the Stairmaster, then shit, man, just sit there, grind it out. Running, incline walking. Uh, I don't really see the need to do any kind of like high intensity circuit work. Like, you're not going to catch me on the seated bike doing 30 minutes of like a sprint. Oh, fuck. You're not going to catch me on the bike doing like 30 minutes or 30 seconds high intensity, then 30-second cruise. It's just kind of a constant level. Enough where my heart rate gets up to like, 150-ish, 140, 150 range. And then, by keeping it up there, at about 15 minutes in, that's where I kind of start to get some sweat going. And then by 30 minutes in, I should be pretty much drenched. Not that like getting sweaty is necessarily an indicator that you're doing good cardio, but I mean, it kind of is, it's a bit of an indicator that you're at least doing something, you know? So, whether or not you are going to be able to follow along either tomorrow or later today or whatever and do your cardio as well, I say that's, to be determined, but I pretty much already know the answer. You're probably not going to do it, and I feel like I've said this a million times. I don't feel the need to, or, well, I guess I do feel the need to keep reiterating it just because you guys always kind of question me about it. Why do cardio on a bulk? Why would you do cardio on a bulk? What the heck? Why are you doing that? It's got freaking benefits, man. Just because here's the logic that people say. You burn 300 calories of energy doing your cardio. Oh, this fucking asshole's really running this red light. Then, your body is going to need to eat 300 more calories to make up for that, So the idea of burning calories superficially, or not superficially, but like seeing burnt calories in a bulking context just from everybody saying, you don't need to do cardio on a bulk, that sounds like a good alternative to people. If you tell a lifter, hey, you don't need to do cardio on a bulk, he's just going to go, oh, sick. All right, love that. No cardio for me. Boom. Right? But you do get benefits out of it, man. You're going to have a better metabolism. You're going to be able to eat more food without putting on so much body fat. So you'll be able to just get bigger, right? The only thing that really stops me from wanting to put on any more weight would be like if I was putting on, oh yeah, oh fuck. If I got too fat, like if I was putting on way too much body fat too quickly, then that would be an indicator to me like, okay, you're probably eating too much. Or maybe you're eating a little bit too many sweets. Maybe you should swap out, a bag of Sour Patch strawberry gummies and fruit snacks with, maybe 100 grams of rice or something like that. Or sweet potatoes, something with a lower glycemic index. But as long as you're still within, I don't know, 12-15% body fat, then I say just get as big as you can. That is kind of, I guess that's kind of my advice all the time. Get as big as you can. But later tonight is going to be back. So that'll be, I don't know where I'm going to go. Maybe I'll go to kind of a fancier gym. Or maybe I'll just go to the rec center. It's hard to say. Because back isn't really a super, let's just say I don't need a ton of specific equipment to have a good back day. I could just have, honestly, I'd be totally satisfied. Well, maybe not totally satisfied, but I could have a pretty good back day with just like a pull-up bar and then an adjustable cable system. Do some single arm rows, single arm pull downs, throw some pull-ups in there. After 5 or 6 sets of that, I can guarantee I'm going to have a pretty good freaking back pump. But other than that, we're finally getting back to the normal schedule. So no more cardio videos filmed in advance, except for this one. This is the last one, and we can actually get back to pumping some food in me. So I will say this, badass trip for sure. But for me, traveling like that, like a whole day of, going between flights, it gets a lot harder for me to, bring my food. I should have been way more responsible and like pack some meals. So, I'd have, my normal flow of calories. I am flat right now. I am down. I haven't stepped onto the scale yet, but I am definitely a few pounds lighter just from not getting in my calories. So I got to get back to my fully bulked state. So I could predict that after this 30 minutes of cardio plus some, oh yeah, well, I guess it feels kind of weird to say plus getting an ab pump, but I guess I am going to go get an ab pump. But yeah, after this, I am going to fucking, let's just say I'm going to fill up the tank with whatever I can get my mitts on, if you know what I'm saying. I've got a frozen DiGiorno pizza in my freezer, and I think it is calling my name, so that may end up being the post cardio / ab workout meal. And then probably a few other meals like that. Maybe not exactly like that, but in terms of their size. And then back tonight should be a pretty wide, thick pump. But let's just cut to, actually, we'll probably just cut to the ab workout. It's not really a need to record the cardio bike, I feel. Plus, it's kind of weird just sitting there with the camera. I feel like when I'm doing actual working sets in the gym itself, nothing weird about that. But just recording yourself sitting down on the bike, I don't know. It feels just a little bit funky. Just a little. So let's just get in there, get started, and then I'm actually getting pretty excited to get done so I can go back home and eat some more food. I'm freaking hungry. I feel like so this is after 30 minutes of cardio plus 30 minutes of chatting. But no, let me get into my little speech here. I feel like abs get neglected for two reasons. For one thing, people kind of get the idea that they're made purely by dieting, and you don't have to train them directly because like, oh well, they're only going to be there if I'm super lean. No, your abs are a muscle just like any other. By developing them and building up size, you'll get that separation. I mean, even when I'm like peak bulk, I can still see a little bit of abs poking out. But yeah, so for one thing, there's just kind of a pre sort of almost like a preconditioning of the average lifter's mind to not want to do abs just because, I mean, people say they're made in the kitchen. No, total bullshit. Like any other muscle, I want to train it directly. And not only directly, but I want to train it with weight. If I want to get a big chest, I'm not just going to do 100 fucking push-ups in a row for my chest day. I want to actually, load up a bar with 3 plates or like do a machine press or pec deck, something with a lot of force behind it and actually contract the muscle that I'm targeting. You know, if calisthenics dudes were walking around at 300 pounds, maybe I'd be more inclined to do that kind of training. But obviously, it's not the same muscle building stimulus. Like I'm not going to say doing like a body weight crunches and ab twists and leg lifts workout won't work. Like there's dudes with pretty solid abs who do that kind of stuff, but the pretty much for the majority of the time that I've been training, whenever I do abs, it's specifically a movement which just like every other that I fucking do has a weight stack, and I'm actually lifting fucking weight. I'm getting to. It is kind of tricky to hit abs to failure, just because some of the machines aren't insanely heavy. But I'm doing hard working sets, and I'm legitimately getting a pump. So as far as I can tell, why hit your abs in any different way than any other muscle? So I'm gonna sit here for I don't know, probably 3, 4 sets. Maybe I'll go downstairs and do some cable crunches too. If I do both, I'll just show one of each. It is pretty repetitive, but if you've seen an ab crunch machine and you haven't touched it, just sit there for a few sets. It's not even like I'm doing these sets with the intensity of like my squats or my bench, where I sit there, I play a crazy song, I'm like, and I jump in the machine. It doesn't. I don't know. I don't think abs require that much intensity. But if you want anything to fucking grow, you've got to at least stimulate it. I mean, it's just. I don't want to say ludicrous because abs are kind of a secondary muscle which gets activated all the time. I mean, I'll hear people say like, "Oh, well, just by squatting, I'm activating my abs," or just by like. I don't think you're just gonna get a crazy set of freaking abdominals without direct training. But let's just throw some weight around and see if we do another movement or just spam these. Now, in terms of the handle, usually I just do this. Just makes more sense for me. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm just going to sit here for a while, then we can cut to the ab pump check. I think this might be a first. I don't think we've ever. Obviously, there's been back, chest, arms, legs. I don't think I've done an ab pump check. So let's fucking see how they look after a few more sets of these. All right, my primary pose down spot has been taken, but I think right here's just as good. Just as good. Better, unlikely. But let's see how we're looking after 5 sets of those machine crunches. So, I mean, you could do weighted cable. You kind of, like, let's say cable is right here. Grab the rope or a bar or whatever and just, do it like that. Same thing, but I don't know, something about the machine just kind of drew my attention today. So let's see how we're looking. This is far too lean for a bulk. I can say that with certainty. Ooh, that's one thing, having an ab pump. It's almost impossible to do a good vacuum because my abs are just so like tight from being all pumped up. So when it comes to like working anything over here or like, serratus stuff like that, I will see a lot of people bust out like side bends. Like let's say you pick up a 40-pound dumbbell here and you do like a side bend to like lift it up and you work this side of your abs. I'm not sure that's an awesome method just because, I mean, think about it. You're working these muscles. What happens to your muscles when you work them? They get bigger. You're just going to thicken up your sides, right? I think just, a straightforward crunch like this, that's good enough. If you spam those, maybe not even spam, but let's say you add like 5 or 6 sets of those heavy crunches, maybe twice a week. I think after a month or two, you will legit notice a difference. But let's get back in the car. I gotta get home and eat something. I'm fucking starving. Whew. One thing that I forget to do every time I work abs is I need to stretch. Like, like between sets, yeah, I should have been doing like a seal pose, if you know what I'm talking about there. Or at least just like kind of lean back, because it's the same thing with calves for me. If I just sit on the calf machine and I, bust out heavy set after heavy set, then by the time the workout's done and I stand up, my calves just feel so stiff. Like in between sets, I do like kind of doing a little Achilles stretch, like pushing my hands up against the wall and really stretching it out just to kind of prevent that. I feel like I should be doing that with other muscle groups too. Like in between each sets of chest, maybe stretch it out, just get some myofibrillar expansion, aka kind of just open everything up for more blood to flow in. That's another thing I was hearing when so me, Ben, and Fuad, we were all kind of just running around LA this weekend. They were putting me on to some deep tissue work because I don't know if you've noticed, but my front delts are most certainly overdeveloped compared to everything else, and it's kind of pulling my shoulders into my chest. And of course they would know. They've been doing this shit for like 15, 20 years. So they were saying some deep tissue massage would do me good. I'm inclined to believe it, so maybe that'll be another video eventually. Weekly trip to so-and-so to... Oh, yeah. Oh. Now that I'm thinking about it, it doesn't look fun. Because all the videos of dudes getting that, it's like a butter knife and they're just cutting into people. Obviously not really cutting into them, but, just fucking going up and down, breaking up knots and everything else. That'll be good, though. That's on the agenda. As well as an inversion table. I think I need to get one for the house. Just because, especially after this weekend of just sitting down for like 6 hours straight. And then even without that, just kind of recently, I kind of feel stiff in my lower back. Not like injury-wise, of course, but 5 minutes a day on the inversion table, just kind of open myself up. That always feels pretty good. So plan now is get home, get a bunch of food in my system, maybe take a short nap, and then might just end up going back to that same gym for back. Or maybe I'll go somewhere else. I don't know. I kind of want to change it up. I was in there for a while today. I don't need to be in there for another, I say hour, but honestly, all my gym trips turn into like 2 hours, especially when there's dudes there that I like and we're actually chatting, just, shooting shit, whatever. So we'll have to see how that goes. But this week is going to be pretty freaking busy. I got all sorts of final projects and studying and homework and late assignments. I set myself up for failure, though. Obviously not failure, but I kind of have a study habit which looks, rather than just a steady stream of effort on the daily, like if right here is a deadline, it's like minimal, holy shit, max out, make it, and then repeat. Which, as much as I always tell myself that I'm going to change that, I don't know. That's just kind of how I always end up doing it. Not a recommendation. These are not words to live by. But if you wait until the last minute, then it only takes a minute. You know, right? That sounds kind of cool. That sounds like it makes sense. But no, that isn't. That is probably the worst method to go about it. I can guarantee it. Oh goodness. So, other than that, yeah, nothing else to say. If you're, well, now I'm kind of curious. What's rarer? People who do their cardio consistently or people who hit abs consistently? I was going to say, obviously, people who do cardio is rarer, but I don't know. It's still pretty rare for me to see people doing abs. Hmm. Maybe I'm going to have to post another poll. Do some, conduct a study, get some information, some intel, and find out where you guys are slacking the most, cardio or abs. I'd say people would do abs more often than they would do cardio, because you can see the benefit of hitting your abs much more directly. You know, the gains that you get from cardio are kind of like the gains that you get from taking all your multivitamins and fish oils. You're not going to feel it right away, but all sorts of processes in your body are going to be much smoother, much freaking smoother. You would notice the cardio too. You won't get so gassed in your lifts. You'll be able to do more reps in your sets. And then by way of doing that, I mean, you're going to get a better pump. You know, let's say you took your last workout and, you know, let's say, let's kind of clone yourself, split it into two split realities. One guy has been doing his cardio and the other guy hasn't. You know, the dude who has, he's going to be able to get more reps done. He's going to be able to get more efficient sets done because he's not going to have to sit for so long. It's not going to take him so long to re-oxygenate whatever muscle he's targeting and, you know, feel like he's fresh and ready to do another set. And more likely than not, the guy doing his cardio versus the guy who isn't is going to have a way better pump. I mean, that kind of implies that they both lift hard, but if we take that as a given, you're going to notice. You are going to freaking notice. So, if you're into New Year's resolutions, I feel like I talked about this earlier. Maybe that can be yours. Maybe that could be yours, doing your cardio. It would probably be a lot cooler if you would just do it, you know, right now without having to wait for a special occasion like a New Year's resolution. But, you know, that's you. That's your life. I'm not your dad. I'll just try to give you as much good information as I can, and you can do with it what you will. But I'll see you next time for back, which for you will be tomorrow, but for me will be in a couple hours.